Welcome to Peace Within the Journey of Forgiveness. Chastity, thank you for accepting my invitation.
Yes, yes.
Oh man, I'm
Thank you
so
for
glad.
having me.
Thank you. I'm so glad you came on through, girl, because I have a question. I never asked you this question when we met up to celebrate our
Right.
graduation.
Yes. Woo!
Thank you, right? We both
Yes.
went through, I know mine was a journey. I know yours had to be a journey as well. Both
Yes.
adults. You
Mhm.
have a child. I don't
Mhm.
have a child. We both have a job. And we are
Mm.
balancing school to get this certificate to say that we are a clinical master's in clinical mental health counseling.
Excellent.
Basically, right?
Yay.
Now we got to study to get the license to be a
I know.
graduate professional. It's just so wow. And I'm honored that God just pushed me through to make it because
Mm.
one of our classmates said something. I was like, wow, was I doing that as well? She said, I don't know if you remember, but she was like, I almost self sabotage myself. And it hit me because I was getting a little lazy. I was just like, you know what, I'm over this. And I was like,
Mhm.
I couldn't believe that I was about to drop the ball for
Mhm.
almost like 2 weeks around the corner, about to drop the ball for a 4-year program. I mean, what
Mm.
4 years or 2 years? 2 years,
Like,
my bad.
it was
I was
supposed to be maybe like 2.5 years, but
yeah, 2.5 years. I was like, when she said that, it really hit home. And I just was like, God, thank you for continuing to push me and speak to me as, I'm worthy to have this certificate. How was your journey?
oh yeah, definitely. My journey started a long time ago as wanting to be a counselor. It took me a couple of years, I say a couple, but a long years to finally go back to school for it, which I started in August of 2019. And then the first of the year in 2020, what do we have? The pandemic. So I had to push through that. And that was a challenge, because now I'm not working. I'm at home. I'm at home more with my kid. I'm at home with my family. So now I don't want to do nothing. What I'm saying? I don't really want to do class no more. I just want to chill. But I kept pushing through, and then still, even halfway through the program, I was like, "Do I really want to do this? Do I really want to do this?" I started this so many years ago, and now I'm in the middle, almost to the end. Do I want to finish? But like you said, but God, um, I kept on the path of it, and like you said, then towards the end of it again, it was another challenge of doing internship, doing a full time job, having a family, having a kid. It was a lot. Um, but just showing up, I think showing up to the class every week, that helped me, because that kept me motivated to keep going, even though I could have did something else with that hour. But it was good motivation to keep going, and I'm glad that I had that experience to do that.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
what was your first impression of me?
Um, Let me see.
Well, be real, be real.
I was definitely like, she's very quiet. I said she's observant, observing the atmosphere, observing the area. But I was like, I don't know. Is she nice or is she not nice? That's that was my first impression. I didn't think he was that nice at first.
I get
And
that too because I am like reserved.
mhm,
But when people meet me, they be like, "Oh my God, you so silly, girl. Calm down, you hyper."
I think
But
it's the facial expressions that she was giving off at first.
oh, what kind of face? I probably was like, "I don't want to be here." Okay, I think for me,
Mhm.
because I'm reserved, and some of the students or our classmates were so open with their business, I was just like,
That
for
part.
real? I was just like, "Can you will it back?" Because I didn't really know what to expect. I
Mhm.
didn't know the class was actually like a therapy session for us. I'm thinking we about to learn, and I'm like, why
Yeah.
are you sharing our business? Like, excuse me, I need to learn this schoolwork so I can pass.
Right. Yeah, I would
So
say that too. I did thought that too.
yeah,
Hmm.
more focus on that. But then it was like, okay, I see where this is going, but still don't ask me no questions.
Right. Still don't ask me no questions. If the other class member want to talk and tell you all they let them tell it for 30 minutes. Because class was 2 hours long. So
Wow.
if they want to talk for 30 minutes, let them talk. But I'm not talking that long. When you come to me, I got a couple of words for you, and we're gonna move on. Because I'm gonna get straight to the point. That's what I
Basically,
feel like. It's just hard for me to like beat around the bush. I'm gonna get straight to the point.
yeah.
And it's gonna be over with.
Girl, when I saw you on the Zoom, I thought you was watching TV the whole time.
Ooh,
Like, oh my God, she watching TV. I was like, I was like, dang, I don't blame her. I
no,
was
the first time.
it didn't look it when I was watching, like, watching through, it didn't look like you was really paying attention. It was like you was all, just like, I was like, this
It's because it was the way it was set up. So I started sitting here at the table.
child.
And
Okay.
then you got, I don't know, what we had, like 10, 15 people in class. So at the time, I'm trying to see everybody,
Okay.
especially when they was talking. I'm trying to see them. Then if they went long winded, then yeah, my attention probably did went somewhere else. But for the most part, I got what they were saying.
Yeah.
I got the gist of what they were saying. But how did you think my personality was?
I really connected because I didn't, I still was out of it. I really connected when you said about doing your own organization for helping women who really don't have that support system, having a child at an older age. And
Right.
that's when my light bulb, like, oh, I need to talk to her. And
Yeah.
that's when I chimed in, like, please do that because you don't know how much women need that, especially when, like me, I'm over 40 and praying that, I'll be blessed with my child and I'll be over 40 with a child. I
Yeah.
would need someone to be my support system or call, like, girl, what I supposed to do, and be transparent. Like, I'm scared at this moment, So when you say that, I think that's when my heart, my brain just started ding, 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 ding. I was like, okay, I need to
Hmm.
give her my information, because I'm like, you said something that made me wake up. So,
And by you chiming in on that, that made me like, oh wow, I did. Maybe I am thinking of something. I'm on the right road because initially when I thought about it, I was like, ain't nobody want that. Ain't nobody want interested in that. That's me. I was like, ain't nobody interested in that. But when you said that you was interested in it, I was like, okay, I need to look more into this. Because there's something that I personally struggled with. Being an older parent. It's the good and the bad. You got to take the good with the bad. So things I wish I had known beforehand, and just continue support, like you said, as being an older parent with a younger child. That is.
do you do you still have high energy, or do you feel like if you had your child at a younger age, you would have had more high energy?
So I often think of me when I was in my late 20s and when I was in my early 30s. Yeah, I definitely had more energy then. I was traveling more then. Well, I guess I probably was traveling more because I didn't have a kid. But I was traveling more, and I was like, I wish I had him at those times so he could have had those experiences with me. It's almost like I lived a whole. Well, I did. I lived a whole lifetime before I had him, right? Because I got pregnant at 35. I had him at 36. Yeah. So yeah, I lived a whole lifetime before I had my child. And but yeah, the energy, you get in your 40s, the energy levels start going down. And I'm actually in the process of right now of trying to figure this out. Like, how can I get more energy? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, hopefully I keep my little high energy because
yeah.
they tell my family or my friends, they be like, girl, you is like a kid.
Yeah, and I think it's more of a health thing for me. Honestly, I don't
Okay.
think that's all people over 40. I think it's more of a health thing. And I recently just found out that my iron is
Mm,
pretty low,
okay.
so I need to work on that. Because you need it for not only just to do things with them, but you need it for mental clarity and processing and everything that they go through,
Mm-hmm.
at this age and as it continues on.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be 10 this month.
Oh,
Yeah, and he's starting to come home and tell me more and more details about what's going on at school. And I'm like, okay, I'm in the mental health field, so now my mind already clicking on to that. Like, okay, how was your day? Okay, let me tell you how to process this. you
yeah,
know, Teaching him deep breathing exercises because
yeah.
he's a little hyper, so sometimes he has a hard time sleeping.
Mm.
So, I'm like, let me walk it through him and walk through these deep breathing exercises to help him calm his mind down to be able to sleep. So just, things like that. I
Mm.
feel like knowing that now I can help someone else. I can tell somebody else this and they can adjust.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Mhm.
glad. I can't wait till you get started because I'll be right down there helping you because I know I'm gonna need the support. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. so
Yes, but I would say take your time. Take it was how do you say, take it one day at a time.
basically, like,
And keep God first. Keep
yeah,
God
I
first.
don't even like holding newborns. So I'm just imagining my own newborn. I get so scared because they so fragile, and I'm like, oh,
I think this is just my opinion. I think when you have your own, it's a little different. When
okay,
you have somebody else baby in your arm, you are more nervous because you don't want nothing to happen to that baby in your care. You don't want nothing to happen to your baby either, but you are going to protect that baby. You gonna make sure nothing happens to your baby. So yeah,
that's
and
what's up.
I really do miss him when he was, a newborn, toddler. Yeah,
Oh,
I see him now. I be trying to hold him, big as he is. My baby. He was like, mm-mm. He
he
was like,
don't get it. He's
no.
like, I'm
And I had,
grown.
yeah, he's getting big. And I had such a cute little name for him. I can't call him that no more. I got to call him by his real name.
No, he set his boundaries already.
He set his boundaries. I think he was 8 when he set that boundary.
He's like, Mom, come on now, let's go. I'm
Right.
growing, you growing. I'm growing, you gonna have to grow with me, okay?
Right. He said, that's not my name. I said, well, I know your name because I named you. But anyway,
Oh man.
yeah, they got
That's
their own personalities. That's another thing you have to deal with. They be your babies, but they are their own individuals, right?
that is so true.
We
That
have
is
to adjust to that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna call you by your name.
oh, I understand that definitely because it's a fact of a point of respect as well. And see if his
Mhm.
growth and he like, I know you love me, Mom, but let me come up to this level where I'm at.
Yeah, and even going through the classes that we went through, going through this program we went through, it highlighted me to that. Like he is an individual. He may be your child, but he has his own. He gonna have his own life,
That's true.
and you have to let him grow into that. You be there, you monitor him, you try to teach him from right from wrong,
Yeah.
but he's gonna be his own individual. So, yeah,
Well, I'm
keep it
proud of
going.
you for that.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you on that. Well, guess all in all, I'm glad we both had this class together because we would have never met each other. Because
yeah.
yeah, I have to reach out to another classmate, but she was cool. There was a few people that I end up getting their information, but you
Okay,
are more. I'm closer to you more than them, which is
okay.
good. That's part of our growing as well. Getting into different walks of life, and our class taught us a lot. But what did life teach you? How is your journey of forgiveness?
Whew. I'm sure we all had quite a journey with forgiveness. Um, there's been a couple things that have happened in my lifetime that I had to forgive. I would say probably one of the most difficult ones would be my sister and me and my sister relationship. I only have one sister, and she's 4 years younger than me.
Okay.
We grew up together, very close. you know how when you're younger, you kind of have a little sibling, rivalry or whatever, but it wasn't really that much. As we became adults, we got much more closer then, especially when she started having kids. I have three nieces, and because at the time I didn't have my own,
Yeah.
so those was my kids too. um, so and we used to talk a lot. I moved to Virginia when my first niece she wasn't even 1 year old yet. I'm originally from South Carolina, so let me say that. I'm
Okay.
originally from South Carolina, born and
Okay.
raised. So I moved to Virginia about 20 years ago.
Okay.
Um, so I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear the background. You okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
So about 20 years ago. So but that's how close I stayed. Every day talking on the phone. I'm traveling to it was like 4 hour drive. I'm traveling to South Carolina like often every holiday, you know. Um the last I'd say about 5 years ago, maybe six. It was a situation that happened, and it kind of happened kind of gradually. It was like, and I'm close to my mom too, so my mom was kind of involved with it. It was just a situation that happened that changed our relationship, and I didn't notice it at first. I saw her behavior change, and I didn't understand it. But I'm her sister. I'm gonna keep on going, right?
Yeah. Hold up. Pause for the cause.
Okay.
Pause for the cause.
Okay.
Do you feel comfortable of telling us what is this situation is? Because you said situation. Do you feel comfortable of giving us more detail of the situation?
Um. Yeah. 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 I'll do that.
Okay.
So, as I said, my nieces were like my children as well. So Christmas, no problem. Going back to school, how you buy school clothes,
Yeah.
no problem. Never thought nothing of it. Um, my sister was a stay-at-home mom at first.
Okay.
I would say, and she's married, whatever. I would say probably when my third niece was little, she went to work, and she worked for a few years or whatever. Then she quit her job. I think I'm gonna say probably now about 5 years ago. And my part of giving, because my job situation kind of changed, so my part of giving started changing too. I ain't thought nothing of it, because it's just how life is, right?
Mhm.
But it became apparent that she took an issue with that.
Wow.
So, that was upsetting
Mm.
itself, like, because I feel like, why is it expected? It shouldn't have been expected. If
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I never expect nothing in return because that's my sister, that's my nieces, right? But when it started being expected, and then when it wasn't done, and your behavior changed towards me, that made me feel a certain type of way. Especially now that you have what quit your job and basically said you was retired, and you wasn't even 40 years old yet. Mind you, that's your prerogative. You can quit how many jobs you want to quit. But I don't think it's fair to expect somebody else to pick up the pieces other than your husband.
Yeah. That's true.
If I'm going to do, I'm going to do regardless. But if I can't do, it's no need. It shouldn't be a behavior change. It shouldn't be a divide. And I ignored it at first. Honestly, I was like, hey, I'm so dumb. She ain't tripping,
Why are you ignoring it though?
because that's my sister. That's my sister who I grew up with.
Okay.
I mean,
So you didn't want to confront the behavior that she was having towards you.
I ignored it, I guess, at the same time. Like how
Okay.
you see something and
Mhm.
you be like,
You brushed it off.
right, hey, that's not what it is. Just keep on moving. But it got to the point I would say that I couldn't ignore it because it did got to the point where I had to have a conversation with her. And I was telling her how I felt, and it was like she kept going back to something that we had already discussed and supposedly have squashed it or gotten over it, right? But it kept coming back, kept coming back. I'm like, why you keep going back there when we try to figure out this part right here? And I know that's kind of confusing, but still, we try to get back to sisters. I'm trying to get back to sisters, but
Yeah.
you keep bringing up something that happened in the past. Like, and I forget, I said, I'm sorry. I said, well, if you felt that type of way, I'm sorry. You know,
Okay.
what can we do to move past this? And she would say that we can move past it, but um, that didn't happen. It didn't happen.
So give us what kind of personality your sister had?
Um, um, well, she used to have a very outgoing personality. She was the one that, if we when we did family get together, she would always plan something for us to do. Like, let's say at Thanksgiving time, we might would decorate, something for Christmas, like decorate a wreath. Everybody go around and decorate something, and they would, like a little contest, or we would do picture night. So she was very family oriented
Okay.
and just an outgoing person. And don't get me wrong, I do realize that some things may have changed for her on a personal level. That's another reason why I was more forgiving, because I feel like you don't know what goes on in a person's life.
That's true.
Even though that's my sister, I don't know all her thoughts. You
Yeah.
know, um, I guess at the time for me, I was trying to get her to see that I'm human too. I got feelings too, you
Yeah.
know. And she, at that time, she just couldn't see that. I didn't
Mhm.
get that from her, you know. So the forgiveness part came because I felt I needed it. You know, how can I make myself? Because it was a hurt. It was a hurting thing, right? So how can I make myself feel better if I continue on to being mad with her?
Yeah.
I have to. I had to learn to forgive her, whether she was accepting that or not.
True. Yeah.
I had to forgive her so I can feel better, so I can keep going on, so it won't keep on being on my brain all the time.
Yeah.
And plus, too, so I didn't, because I started to feel funny around her, and like I'm talking to a stranger. Oh, that was totally like mm-mm.
You didn't under your skin when you was around her.
Right. It was like it felt forced.
Oh.
So imagine, you got this close relationship with somebody, and then all of a sudden it's feeling forced that you have to talk to her, you have to, hug her or whatever. But I would say now, like I said, since I went through that and I forgave her, and I also forgave myself for the situation that happened, for just the back and forth that we dealt with at the time.
Okay.
Now I'm more comfortable with talking to her, even though we don't talk every day, nothing like we used to. Um, but when I'm around her, I'm much more comfortable.
Okay.
And hugging her and telling her I love her, it come with ease because it's
Okay.
true.
That's good.
It's true.
Okay.
I don't know what she's thinking. She tell me she love me back, so I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. But it was a tough time, and it went on for about maybe 2 or 3 years.
For real. How did it shift you in your own personal life too? Because sometimes people go through certain things and they project it on maybe the other part of the family. Did it affect your own household, or how did it affect you internally?
Oof. I don't think it affect my household. I try to avoid that.
Okay.
Um, I think that's why it hurt me so bad because I kept it on the inside,
Mhm.
and occasionally I might would mention it to my husband, but I didn't want to. It's almost like a private thing. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's like because it's my sister, I didn't want to talk about it a lot until I was comfortable. At first, I wasn't comfortable with talking about it, so I kept it. And it's not like he didn't know what was going on. Don't get me wrong, but I try not to share it as often.
So it's like you was upset with her, but you still was trying to protect her at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that a big sister thing?
I, yeah, yeah, I'm sure that what it is, a big sister thing, because when you upset with somebody and you share it with somebody else, what they do? They become upset with the person.
Uh-huh. That's
You
true.
know. So to avoid that, the best I could, I wouldn't share as much of my deep feelings. He might have knew some surface stuff like, oh, she got on my nerve, like, something simple, but it wasn't the deep down.
True.
Mhm.
That's also maturity as well. I think that's also maturity because sometimes, like you said, the other person can, oh, you messing with my wife, or you messing with my girlfriend, or you messing with my sister,
Yeah,
and turn on that other person. So you protected that as well until y'all can resolve it and everybody come back together. When y'all have y'all holiday family time.
right. Because I feel like any feelings that he has towards her or anybody. I'm saying that anybody that I may have had problems with, I let him form his own opinion.
Yeah,
Let him form his own thoughts, and however he reacts, he reacts.
that's true.
No, long as it ain't no craziness. Long as we still can be adults about it.
Because that's funny. I was watching this TV show. That's what brought to my mind. I was watching this TV show, and the young lady had a boyfriend. The boyfriend was mad at one of her family members. The boyfriend was about to go fight the family member, and she was
Mhm.
like, "Hold up, you are not
Yeah,
about to fight my family member." I
yeah.
said, "Woo, that's when you was telling me your story. That's what popped up in my mind because it could have happened that way.
Mhm, mhm,
But
mhm.
y'all been more mature than this TV show that I was watching.
Yeah, and that happens a lot, like as a TV show, but that happens a lot in the real world.
Yeah, that's true. It was a reality show.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
It
they
was a
did. It was a reality show. I don't know. Sometimes they be acting on there too, but
I was like, wow, where's the maturity at for someone to come in as the media and say, hey, let's calm down and first
Mhm.
let's talk about this situation. And first, sometimes my personal opinion, sometimes you have to do the act first. Let me just forgive you. Now, how can we work this, like you said, this situation out? Let's
Mhm.
understand why you feel this way. I want to let you know why I'm feeling this
Yes,
way. Then
exactly.
we can come together so we can understand that we don't allow this to happen anymore because, like you said, we are sisters. I'm protecting you because I love you and you're my sister and I have a bond with you. So open up to me more.
Right.
And yeah, that's crazy. Did she
And
go back
that's
to work?
no. But you
Still
said
not
something.
alone?
You said something right there. That's exactly what I wanted to do in the beginning. Like, I guess it's what kind of hurt me too. Like, we had such a great bond. Now you shutting down on me. But then like you said, I had to take that extra step to realize she might be dealing with something that she's not willing to open up about. So I just had to take a step back and then come back and be like, okay, I'm sorry for what I did. My part I played in it. Because even though it might have started with her, of course I added to it right in the beginning. Because I was like, oh no. But anyway, in the beginning, I added to it. So I had to pull myself back, right? And just forgive her for the situation that happened.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we also can't rush the stages of how we forgive in the healing process.
Yeah.
It might take, hopefully, it don't take 20 years, but you never know. Sometimes it take, and then while she's over there doing whatever she's doing, she also learning herself, like, okay, my sister just gave me validation that I can come to her and open up to her. Why am I
Mhm.
shut down?
Right.
So sometimes it takes a while for people to just be transparent with a family member. So hopefully she understand that you're a sister, you protect her in a way, even when y'all was having a dispute.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope she sees that. I pray that she sees that. And she's also I want to say she's a very, religious person. She, so she reads her Bible, so she knows about forgiveness, right? So I do have faith that she sees that. She sees where she was wrong in it. I can't say she said she was sorry, but some people just got pride. People have a lot of pride, and it's hard for them to say that they're sorry. So
Okay, but you also said she reading the Bible and
I know.
pridefulness is not a good thing.
Oh, I know, and I
Oh,
pray for her for that part too.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good. Cause
I know because when you know, you're supposed to know. You're supposed to do better, right?
yeah,
I
but
mean,
you,
but I still see people. We fall short. Everybody
yeah,
falls short.
we go get it better. That's why I love that Jesus died on the cross for us, so we can every day get up and make this thing better. But and I want to hit on that because pride. That's one thing. Pride pushes people away to walk in the journey of forgiveness. That ego, that
Yeah,
I can't even find a word for it, but that I'm not gonna let you know that I'm wrong.
yeah. That's that pride.
Yeah, I don't understand it because now you're building something in your heart, and it's gonna
Mm,
continue to, build on, and now you're gonna not carry it to this you, but to another person.
yeah,
And now
exactly.
we got a cycle
Mm-hmm.
from one little situation that could have been resolved and fully walked in these steps of healing and forgiving and saying, look, like you said, you forgave because you knew you was wrong on your part. Look,
Mm-hmm.
I'm wrong on my part. Let's forgive. Let's learn from it
Right.
and move forward. And that's the bottom line. I believe that God is trying to teach us in the Bible of forgiveness. And one scripture hit me, and that's when I was like, you know what? I need to forgive because I'm no better than the next person who hurt me because I know I'm hurting someone else. And
Mm-hmm.
he say, how can God said in the Bible, how can I forgive your trespasses if you didn't forgive your person who trespassed against you? So
Mm-hmm.
basically, I was like, I know I wasn't an angel.
Right.
Look,
Exactly.
I know I
Uh-huh.
got a little mouth on me, or I know, so let me just go ahead and say, even in my everyday walk, because of my job or when I'm out and about, I just look at people and like, and I just smile like, oh, you can have that. You know what I'm saying? This
Yeah.
is my way. This is my way of forgiving you because I know I probably had done something when I need forgiveness right about now. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you go because I need my Lord and Savior to forgive me
Right.
every day of my life. So I just be like, I always pray like God, the world is off the hook. We all need you. We all need the blood of Jesus. We all need to believe in Jesus, but please do not let my heart get black because I come up against a lot of stuff. And I'm like, I could just say what I deal with on my job, I could
Mm.
just say, you know what, God, forget your children. Like forget them.
Because you
But
did a lot with public, right?
yeah, I deal with the
Mm-hmm.
public very much so. And I'm like, you know what, God, please do not allow my heart to get black. Allow what I'm coming up against. Teach me how to deal with it and to love them how you love me when I was off the hook, or love me like you said, sometimes we come short. So teach me how to love them as you love me when I fall
Mm.
short, because I don't know what they dealing with. They could be dealing with some things that they need you to break them so they could become made whole and start walking in this fullness that you gave us.
So
Because
true.
sometimes I look at some women, I'll be like, dang, ooh, that used to be me.
Yeah. Oh, could be you,
It
right?
could basically that could be me.
Hmm.
I just, I
Yeah.
just, but
I think with this, even this field that we are in, the counseling field, there's so many roles that we can take, right? So immediately you think about counseling, think about outpatient therapy, right? But there's other different roles that we can take, and one of the roles that I have done um, was crisis counseling, and
okay,
that brings you to many. I mean, you see many families that are dealing with so many things, and it keeps you humble.
Yeah.
A lot of families, they're homeless.
Mm.
They don't have food. They have, and some of them be single, but some be with kids.
Mm.
Some be with babies,
Mm.
right? So my job is to find all the resources I can for them at the time that I'm given. But I don't never walk into a situation and be like, mm,
Mm.
you know how some people, and I have worked with some, because guess what? Yeah, I'm going to protect myself. Don't get me wrong, because you're going to walk into some environments that's not healthy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to protect myself, but at the same time, in my head, I'm like, I could be here next week,
Yeah.
or I could be here a year from now,
Basically.
you know. So just because I might be living in a house at the moment, I might have a job at the moment, I have a car, God could take that from me.
Mm.
He could humble me down real fast. So like you said, when you see people out, when you see what God is allowing some people to go through, it could be for their breakthrough. A lot of times it is for their breakthrough, and not only their breakthrough, but your breakthrough.
Yeah.
He's allowing you to witness that, so you can, like you said, it humbles you, right? When you see people behave in a certain way. Like you
Yeah.
said, that used to be me, or that could be me.
Mhm.
You know, so that's my thinking of it. Too, and because I'm not gonna say I've been perfect all my life. I'm not perfect now. But what I'm saying is, yeah, maybe 20, 30 years ago, telling my age now, 20, 30 years ago, I might have been like, oh. But yeah, after years of maturing, after being in this field, after knowing who God is, it's changed me,
Yeah.
you know. So,
And I love God's change because
mhm.
it was so crazy how you say you work at the crisis center and you was finding them resources to help them. I was at work and I heard this young lady and I turned and she was yelling at her kid and I was like, ooh. I said, okay, Lord, I think you want me to stay in this truck. But my love for her wanted to say, hey, I think you might want to go to some parenting classes.
Mhm, mhm,
I,
mhm,
I think you want to because the way she was yelling at her kids, basically cursing and stuff like that. Whatever the little boy was doing, I didn't see it. I just heard her reaction to whatever he was doing, and I
mhm.
just wanted to jump out my little vehicle and say, "Hey, I think you might want to go to some parenting classes because I don't know what you've been through, but
Mhm.
it could be a cycle."
Yeah.
And even though you're yelling at your child, I want to say it ain't that deep. Let me be real. I want to say, boo, it
Mhm.
ain't that deep. We have to find a way to work better with each other, especially like you said, family. And maybe let's play the role here. Maybe sometimes I hear women say they get mad at the boy because they see the father in the boy.
I have heard stuff like, I think that's foolishness. I'm
That's
sorry.
yeah,
That's
it makes
that's
me upset.
individual.
That's why I'm like, people need to really just say forgive, like baby, like you
Mhm.
know what, let me just forgive him for what he has done because at the end of the day, like you said, we all growing. So obviously you pick this man. Now
Mhm.
you see that he's unhealthy. Let's move forward and let's raise a better man. Like okay, I see what I don't want my child to be,
Right.
but let's raise a better man. And matter of fact, it hit me. I told that to one of my when we was doing our intern.
Mhm.
She was talking to me about the child's father and stuff like that. And I said, you see, how your child father is. Now
Mhm.
look at your son and try to make sure he do not imitate that's of his father.
Right.
You know,
That behavior.
and yeah,
Mhm.
so it's just so crazy. But now I'm asking God, how do I confront people?
Mm.
Know I can help them
Mhm.
because we are in a field. I am in the field. I can get you the resources.
Right.
You could talk to me. It don't even have to be a counseling session if you don't have the positive role model. Or I ain't trying to be the right role model, but a
Yeah.
positive person in
A
your life.
mentor.
Let's connect. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let's connect. Let me help you. Let me teach you some skills when you upset with your child, because obviously nobody taught you. Let's breathe. Like you said, you taught your son. Let's breathe. Like,
Mhm.
Because sometimes when I be wanting to be at work and pop off, I say, God help me. I
Right.
breathe and say, help me. Because
Mhm.
one lady, I was driving and I was calm. I thought I was calm. She caught an attitude. She was like, you should have took such and such place. No, she was like, you take such and such exit. And I said, it would have been nice if you would have told me before I got in the left lane.
Right.
There was no way there for me to get over it all the way over the left lane exit I'm taking. The
Mhm.
right exit is over there. I'm driving a bus, which people don't let me over.
Right.
So I was like, it would have been nice if you told me before I got over all the way over in the left lane. But
Yeah.
in my mind, I thought I did good because I would have been like, why would you wait till the last minute? That would have been
Yeah.
the
So
portion.
you saw the growth in yourself, right?
Because I'm quick with it. I'm like, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, girl, I
Mm.
rather be in my bed, but I got to get up to this job until God remove me and put me in the in the other
Yeah.
direction that I want to go. So
Yeah.
I felt that she had an attitude when she got off the bus. She was like, "Thank you," and I was like, "Oh, thank you." No, I said, "You're welcome. Have a good weekend," because it was a Friday, right? But in my mind, sometimes I have to go back. I'm like, God, could I have done better? Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I'm trying to be the person that God wants me to be. So I
Mhm.
always ask God for forgiveness, like, Lord, if it's another way that I could have done, show me, because I'm
Yeah.
trying to show the world who you are and you work through people. So
Yes.
the spirit of you, they say, is in me. So I have to project that out to the people that I'm encountering. So that's why I love, the journey of forgiveness because it never stops. It's a
Never
journey,
stop.
it's a lifestyle, it's a work, it's a
Mhm.
everyday thing.
Yeah.
What's some things in your life when you was like, oh Lord, please forgive me. Like, could I have done better?
Um, sometimes I have what you call intrusive thoughts, right? So those are thoughts, unwanted thoughts that come to your head about someone that may have wronged you. They could have wronged you in that moment, or they could have wronged you years ago. I have to ask God, please take these thoughts away from me, because this is not who I am. That's not who I want to be. And I already know these thoughts are of the devil. And he
Yeah.
just want to come in my mind and have me thinking this foolishness that don't need to be there, to be honest with you. That's an example.
But
Other
hold
than
on, I want to say this because I'm glad you said that because I be telling people when people laugh, they be like, "You so funny," but I'm serious.
mm,
I say, who's the most lethal people in the world? Christians, because we want to do something,
but we
but we
don't
know
do it.
we're not going to do anything because we praise God and we put
Mhm.
God first. I said, but
Right.
if you want to be you, you might want to leave a Christian alone because first of all, they like Lord,
Right.
they going
Right.
through this whole motion, but because their love for God so much,
Mhm.
they humble themselves, they bow down to God and say, "You be my advocate, you handle
Right.
this.
Right.
I'm going to praise you instead of allowing my intrusive thoughts to come
Mhm.
out on the forefront."
Exactly. For sure. Like they say, I like to say God fearing, but some people don't like to use that. Like some people will say, "Oh, you scared of God." It's not. I'm scared of God. I respect Him.
Yes. Yeah.
I love Him. I respect Him. So yeah, He's in my thoughts daily. He guides me. I'm not. If He didn't, I could be, mm. like you said, Christians.
You be like, because they really don't know because we love God, but
Hmm.
we still feel the impact of what people do to us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We still have these emotions. We
Yeah.
still get hurt. We still get agitated. We still get angry, but we have a choice. And
Yeah.
the choice is to not please God, but we respect the relationship of our God and
Hmm.
to just say, this is what's not, God say is not right. So let me, and I'm knowledgeable. I'm mindful of what I am doing in this
Right.
moment too. Now,
Exactly.
there are some Christians that wasn't mindful, and guess what? God loves them. They
Mm-hmm.
can go back, ask for forgiveness, and then no, like, okay, I need not to do that no more. This is a trigger for me. I
Right.
see this triggered me. Now I
Mm-hmm.
understand that this is a trigger, and I react in this way when I get triggered. Now I bring it to God because it's brought to the forefront. Now I
Mm-hmm.
bring it to God, and also, boom, go to therapy. I am an
Yeah.
advocate of God plus therapy equals wholeness.
Yes, I like that. I totally agree with that. I do because some people, and thank goodness they're becoming more. People are going to therapy more now than they used to, and therapy is not as taboo as it used to be.
Yeah,
And even with Christians, you know how it was back in the day, especially like probably like my grandma, they'd be like, you just read the Bible,
uh-huh.
just
Yeah,
read your Bible, you'll be all right. But no, I feel like reading your Bible, being close to God is definitely part of it. But being able to go to someone and share your thoughts is almost like a sounding board, right? And share your thoughts with someone that's neutral and that can provide you some clarity sometimes.
yeah,
Because you can talk to your friend, you can talk to your spouse or your partner, and they're going to, most of the time, they're going to tell you what you want to hear. Let's be honest, right? So it's good to go to someone that's neutral that can make you see things in a different light. And I believe like I say, I was an advocate of therapy even before
mm,
starting the program. So being in the program just made it more apparent. And then also the different things that we have been through in the last couple of years.
yeah,
You know, with the pandemic, that was a major one.
yeah.
We got kids from kindergarten on up affected by
Mhm.
the pandemic. We often think about the adults that was affected, but I guess me having a elementary school kid,
Yeah,
I can see from them having to be home, from them not having school. How when the pandemic hit in March, they completely took the kids out of school. To them being homeschooled
yeah.
for what, a whole year and a half, that was a lot. And then from him to like even my niece, she was graduating that year. We all making my first niece, we making all these plans to go to graduation and have this big
Wow.
thing, but she couldn't even graduate normally. They had to do it like individually. Nobody was in the gym, everybody was outside. You had to stay at your cars until they called your name. And then you and maybe 2, 3 of your family members were able to go. So that was
Wow.
huge, right?
Yeah.
That
That's
was huge for that class. Like they was all these years they going to school, they expecting to have this big graduation and they couldn't do it. And
mm.
then her first year of college was, even though she was able to go to the campus, she still had to take classes from the dorm.
Oh, okay. Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't even know they was allowing them back on campus.
So I think there was some schools, I don't think that was all, but her school they
Oh,
did. They allowed them to go, but they didn't they couldn't go. She might have would have stayed at home, right? Because she
they
wanted,
wanted their money some kind of way.
yeah, she's trying to get some of that experience, but it was in the dorm. So, but that was a huge impact on those kids. So yeah, I mean, therapy, it shows up.
Yeah.
You know, it shows up in any form, and it's needed to show up.
That's needed. And like you said, we connected. It's like faith without works.
That's
In
right.
therapy, faith without works. You know how you said the grandma would tell you go read the Bible. Like one of my grandfather's daughter, she had
Mm-hmm.
called me, and it was so crazy because I was just listening to her talk.
Mm-hmm.
And she was telling me something drastic because she just lost her father, which is my grandfather. You remember you saw me
Okay.
when I had to go to
Yeah, I
Zoom.
remember.
I'm still trying to do
Mhm.
Zoom class. Hey, I'm faithful.
Yeah,
Look, hey,
you was faithful, honey, because I
what,
wouldn't have
what?
been.
Look, I don't want nobody to take this out of context, but Jesus said, "Let the dead bury the dead." It's like
Yeah,
I,
that's
I had
true.
to stay focused. I was able to go to the funeral and do my classwork.
But
That was
I
my
had a
focus.
situation. I had a. Why you? I'm sorry to cut you off. I had a similar situation that happened to me, and I'll tell you a little bit about it if you want me to. Go ahead. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Go ahead and finish with your
Okay.
thought.
Okay, real quick. So I was trying
Mhm.
to tell her, like, yo, you need to go to therapy because what she was telling me, I was like, you know, that's in your body, right? And guess what she
Mm.
told me? Oh,
Mm.
it is because I fainted the other day. But guess what she said? And I said, look,
Mm.
I don't deny the power of prayer or anything,
Mm.
but you need to speak to someone. You're holding it in, you know,
Yeah.
and yeah, basically. So I don't know if she do it, but sometimes we have to break down this wall and
Yeah.
tell people who goes to church or the Christians or people who love God, God is everywhere.
Right.
God is in me. God is giving me the tools, and I pray that He pay all my student loans. Amen.
I know
And
that's yes.
giving me the tools to go to school and help because this is also a form of healing. You know,
Mhm.
therapy is also a form of healing. We can have spiritual healing, mental healing, physical healing, everything where God works. God's hand is on everything. And we have to open their minds to that. And that's why I also speak about forgiveness. Forgiveness is a part of healing. Once you start planting the seed of, I'm going to forgive, you're going to start growing this love, this unity, and want to see more of God's presence. But
Right.
boom, what you was gonna say?
No, when you was like the dead, buried, the dead, I had a situation. We had remember how we used to, when we was going to school, we
Hmm.
supposed to have went to like in person what pre-prep, right?
Yeah,
So we ended up having to do it through Zoom. My great aunt had passed away,
mm,
and my mother's was just my mother, aunt. So she was really close to her. I was close to her through my mother, Um, and because I had to be on this Zoom call like the whole day, right? Do you remember that?
yeah,
For like 2, 3 days. No, it was 4 days, matter of fact.
yeah.
I made a decision not to go to go home because I would have had to go to South Carolina to the funeral. And I thought about it and I said my aunt would want me to continue on my program, because that would have made me had to stop and then pick up whenever they had to schedule another one, right? I said, I feel like she would want me to continue on with my program. And her funeral was like a family reunion because everybody came from out of state, you know. And I dealt, even though I made that decision, I felt that way. You still deal with that, right?
Yeah.
Still deal with that loss. Still deal with the fact that you wasn't there to share that with your family members. And I just thank God that she came to me in a dream, and it was just, I'm telling you, it was not. I wasn't even expecting. It wasn't an expected dream. It wasn't a dream like, oh, hey, how you doing, dream. It was just like she was gathering up some stuff. It was crazy. Like we was getting ready to go on a river ride. This is how weird it was. We don't go on no river rides, right? But anyway, she was gathering up her stuff, and I asked her. I said, "Do you have everything you need?" She said, "I'm good." It was just like I got everything I need. And then I woke up. Whew, I get chills when I think about it because
Wow.
instantly I realized she was letting me know she's okay.
Yeah.
She's exactly where she wants to be. And I
Mhm.
can get it off my mind, worrying about not going to no funeral because she already where she need to be at.
Yeah. And, and
Mm-hmm.
it's hard. It's like a catch where
Yeah.
you do, you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
You know, you.
Because you have to deal with other family members. Because of
Yeah,
course
I'm
I
about
got
to
the phone
say, other,
call. Yeah,
yeah, the
I got the phone.
outside,
Where you at? Where you at? I'm like,
they don't understand because that's why I was like, I hope people don't get this out of proportion when I said the
yeah,
dead bury the dead, because you can take it and interpret it how you want to take it. It's
yeah,
don't allow your journey to stop because death is right there. Because we
yeah,
are still living and we still
yeah,
supposed to. This is how I interpret it. Hey, do what
yeah.
you do. You know,
Right.
I'm not talking about you, but the outside
Yeah,
viewers,
yeah,
because some people might take it a wrong way, but
mm,
you still have to carry on. You
yeah.
know, the people that's supposed to be there, they was there. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yep.
wasn't able to come. Your focus, like you said, if you would have went, you would have
Mm-hmm.
had to take that class all over again or whatever
Yeah.
what you did. I think I took my class at night and I shouldn't have took it at night, but because of, I was working in the daytime, I had to take it at night, and I was like, man, these people, you know how you just keep your eyes like this, so
Yeah. But
it's
it was, yeah, I mean, it was time consuming. It was
yeah,
intense,
yeah,
very intense. I can see why they would do it, why they have it in person, but because of COVID, we had to do
yeah,
Zoom.
on the Zoom,
Yeah.
but sometimes you have to do what you have to do because like her spirit came, like you said, came to you in a dream, and she
Mhm.
reassured you, I have everything I needed.
She said,
And
I have everything I need. I was just like, I just woke up. Like,
I
as
know
soon as she said that, I woke up and I was just like,
that's how you know that's a God dream, because you wake up like, what? And you can feel it. It's because
yeah,
I had a dream like that. I woke up, I was like, what? Like I felt it, like you was there. Like the
yeah.
feeling is like so weird. Like I was like, oh
Because
God, you
even,
hook.
right, even when I woke up, I said, Don, I wish I would have ran and hugged her, but I didn't. I woke up so fast. But yeah, I mean, like, 'cause how weird is that? She be gathering up stuff to go on a river ride, getting your life vest, you getting, all your stuff you need to get in your boat. And I'm like, you got everything you need? Mm. And she told me
Wow,
she had everything she needed. It was like, wow. So,
that's what's up. And that gave you reassurance, like you said. You didn't have
oh,
to have guilt. Should I the balance? Should I went? Should I did? Da 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 da. And it's like, okay,
sorry, I'm getting my charger here. Yes.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's we as a people, we need to learn how to understand the balance. And also, when we're unsure, go to God and pray and ask for wisdom. And like like God, this is not a prayer that I need to ask in 10 years from now. I need a prayer right now. Like I am so transparent with my God. That's why I love
Yeah.
Him. Allow me
Right.
to be me. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, I need an answer like right now. Like
Right.
I, I need like I'm having some turmoil here.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
know I don't supposed to walk like that. What do I
Right.
supposed to do? And a lot of people feel like you supposed to stop your whole life and go to a funeral.
Certain
You
things
know?
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, but if this person has these obligations
Right.
as a support system, we're supposed to understand. And maybe like, hey, I know you can't be here. I know you want to be here, but let's do this. Let me record and send it to you so you feel like you was there. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna, I'm gonna be transparent. I was upset when they had my grandfather's funeral on a weekday. I was like, who does that? And I told her, like, I was like, I'm in school, something, something.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, guess what? I'll figure it out. Because I
Yeah.
almost didn't win. But I was like, I have to
Mm-hmm.
go. That's like my dad. Like, I really got to go. And that's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad, it was Zoom. I was able to take my little computer and just go, then pause. Because I, communicated with our professor. I was like, hey,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. So I'm glad she was lenient about that. But
Yeah.
I'm glad it worked itself out. But on my level of life, I just feel like whoever comes in my life, hope they understand that it's a balance. And you
Yeah.
have to and don't try to, put no static in our relationship because I ain't trying to do no extra forgiveness, then something to be something to be
Look,
avoided. Like, come on now, like
they can understand the boundaries that you put in place for yourself, right? Mm-hmm.
I got and this is no way, like, come on now. Let's use logic over here.
Right.
But it's
Mm-hmm. If you pray for that, that's what you're asking God for. He gonna show
yeah,
up. He's gonna show
yeah,
it.
it is. So just forgiving your sister
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that, she's in a place where she has to heal on her own. How
Yeah.
much peace came in you felt inside in your mind and body.
I just felt so much relief because I had to realize that she is her own person. Things that may have affect. Let's say we grew up in the same house, right? And we had some of the same things that happened to us, but just because I was affected one way, she's affected a different way.
That's true.
Right. It took me some time to realize that because at first, um, a little bit about that. We grew up with an alcoholic father.
Okay.
My stepfather, her father. Been with him. My mama been with him since I was a baby. So they got married when I was like 10, 11 years old. So basically all my life. But he's been an alcoholic. He's been verbally abusive alcoholic. Um, Me, I think, and I'm not saying I'm some courageous person or anything, but I kind of like brushed it off. Like it's a part of life, whatever. Just because I did that don't mean she was able to do that. And even though it might have not came out as we was growing up, it could be coming out now as an adult.
That's good.
Yeah, it coming out of her now as an adult, and I had to sit back and I had to realize that because that came up one time, me and my mom, and she was like, "You grew up in the same house," and I had to tell her, "Mom, we two different people."
That's true.
And then too, you got to realize that is her biological father. So maybe she felt like he should have treated her. She felt like maybe he should have treated her differently,
Okay.
or maybe she felt differently for him. Because I can't say I really felt that much for him. I'm not gonna say I didn't love him because he was there since I was a baby. But when you grow up with somebody like that, it's kind of hard for you to show
Mm,
love
that's
like
true.
that.
Yeah,
You
I
know
get.
what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. So I feel like that's part of what's been going on with her in the last couple of years too. And plus now she's at that point he's sick now, right? He's been sick
Mm,
like 8 years to the point he had a brain aneurysm. So he's needing care, and she's a part of that care. And I think with her being more involved with that, some of those feelings started coming out. Like, you
mm,
treated me like this when I was growing up, and now I got to help take care of you.
mm.
You know. So that was
That's
a part of me too. Like, okay, let me sit back and look at the situation.
yeah, and that's good that you're able to do that. As
Mm.
we wrap up, what would you say to sisters' relationships?
I would say sister relationships are very important because a lot of times, whether we fight as kids, that's still the first. That's the person that knows you the best. If you grew up in the same house, I'm sorry, I should maybe say that. If you grew up in the same house, this is the person that's going to know you the best. Y'all might fight over clothes. Y'all might fight over I don't know, the TV. Who knows later on down the road. But that's the person that knows you the best. So those are very important relationships. Yes, when you get older and you go down this road and going down that road, things do change. Don't get me wrong. But at the core of who you are, that person knows you the best. So I think those are very important relationships to keep alive. And it does hurt me or bother me when I see families that just can't never get it together. Now, if it's going to be violence, sometimes you have to let it go,
That's true.
right? If it ain't no coming together except for violence, just let it go. But still, that person, the one that knows you the best,
That's true.
when they
I
get deep down to it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Well, Chastity, I am so grateful that you shared your sister story with us and
Yeah,
how the number one word is just to forgive each other and give
right.
each other time and
Mm-hmm.
understand that, like you said, people go through or people experience things different than the other
Right.
person and just be waiting with an open heart and an open mind and just, know
Exactly.
that it's going to take them more time than it took you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you for having me. I was so excited to be on your show.
We about to get in our journey thanks to the goodness of God.
Yes.
Thank our university of bringing us together.
Yes,
I want to thank
definitely.
the viewers to just
Yes.
watching and just understand and listening and pick out some important parts and carry it in your life and make sure
Right.
you walk down the journey forgiveness, because it's so important just to be peaceful. Like Chastity said, brush it off. So
Brush it
not
off. Let go and let God. That's my
let it
favorite
go.
thing.
Let it go and let God. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share it with someone. Thank you, you guys.
Bye bye.
Woo!